Hi everyone, welcome to the Leaders Academy. Today we are going to understand a very important concept from section E of part 1 of CMA USA course, and the concept is audit risk. What is audit risk and what are the components of audit risk and types of audit risk will be answered in this particular video. Watch this video till the end so that you will be able to understand each and every concept in detail. What is this audit risk? Audit means what are we going to audit? We are going to audit the financial statements. Who will be auditing it? A external auditor who may be a CA or he may be a CPA. So that person will be doing the audit. What are the risks we are going to face in our financial statements? Maybe our financial statements may be wrong. Maybe we haven't followed some particular procedures and policies which we need to be followed in our financial statement, or maybe auditor would have given a wrong opinion. So let's read what is this audit risk. It is the risk that a company's financial statements are materially incorrect, even though the auditor states that the financial statements don't contain any material misstatement. This is the risk. It can be otherwise also. If financial statements are materially correct, but the auditor says that the financial statements are materially incorrect, this can also happen. So after this, what are the components which makes audit risk? Let's see that. The audit risk consists of two parts. The first part is the financial statements are materially misstated. I told it in the starting itself. So financial statements is one point, and the second point is the opinion of an auditor, and the next one is inappropriate audit opinion. For today we will study more about this financial statements which are materially misstated, which means from client's angle, means from a organization's angle. So what are the types of audit risk? We have three different types of audit risk. One is inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk. What is inherent risk? It is that risk where material misstatement is there in the company's financial statements. Material misstatement is going to be there without considering any internal controls. And the next, control risk. You apply some internal controls, still you will fail at one or the other point. You will not be able to apply each and every control possible, correct? That is control risk. And detection risk. This detection risk will come from CPA's angle or a auditor's angle, to be very precise. From the auditor's angle, this detection risk will come. What is this detection risk? It is that risk the auditor should use his own auditing policies, procedures, sampling, and all those things, and to find if there are any material misstatements in the financial statements. That is detection risk. Detection risk is the risk that the auditor's procedures are unable to detect any material misstatements in a company's financial statement. And control risk, it is the chance of a material misstatement in a company's financial statement because there aren't any relevant internal controls to mitigate a particular risk, which means you have created a best of the best internal controls in your organization, but still one or the other risks are there. There is a chance that a material misstatement happen. Why? Because you will not be able to put each and every internal control. That's why maybe that could happen. A particular risk cannot be mitigated as you don't have a relevant internal control for that. And inherent risk, as we said in the starting, it is that risk of a material misstatement in a company's financial statement without considering any internal control. You don't have any internal control. At that time, what are all the risks you are going to face? That is inherent risk. I'll tell you one more thing. The risk between inherent and the control risk is going to be a residual risk. The question may come like this also. Inherent risk means 0, control risk means somewhere around 80. Still, even after this you have some risk. That is residual risk. This residual risk, you can't do anything. Just remember, residual risk means the leftover risk. The leftover risk after you apply all the controls. That is residual risk. We'll study more about this inherent risk and all. What is this inherent risk? We'll study that. A company collecting data from several subsidiaries with the intention of combining that information later is considered to be engaging in complex work, which could comprise material misstatements and give rise to inherent risk. I'll give you a simple example. There is a guy who has done BCom and there is a guy who has done CMA, CPA and CA. There is a difference between these two people. A BCom guy will be not that competent, but a CMA, CPA, CA guy will be more competent. What they are telling in this particular context is there is some complex work. Who will be able to do this? Do you think a BCom guy will be able to do, or a CMA will be able to do? A complex work will be done by a professional, as it is complex. So these professional degree holders will be able to do this work, correct? But if the same work has been done by this BCom guy, then what happens? We will be having a lack of competence. Why we will be having lack of competence? Because he is not well averse with the task, with the skills. So there are chances that it may go wrong. There are chances that it may go wrong. At that point, material misstatements will happen because of the competence. Remember this, if there is any particular work and a person is not able to do that, it means because of his competence he is not able to do. Okay, this may cause an error. This may cause an error. Next, leadership that engages in unethical business, lack of integrity of a company's management, could negatively affect the company's reputation, leading to a loss of business, which increases the level of inherent risk. A person is well averse with the knowledge, task, skills and everything, but he lacks in integrity. He does unethical business. Today or tomorrow he will be in trouble. This will also make our financial statement look materially misstated, which means, for example, if you have 100 crores of profit, 100 crores of profit, if he does a window dressing and shows it as 150 crores of profit, shows it as 150 crores of profit, at that time all the stakeholders will be happy with regards to the profit, with regards to the results of the business, but which is actually not true. Here he lacks integrity. By this, our inherent risk will be more. Next, a company can mitigate inherent risk by implementing internal controls. How to mitigate this inherent risk? We have risk, the risk of integrity, the risk of competence we have. How do we mitigate that? By implementing controls, by making sure the management is working correctly with regards to the financial statements, and you are going to hire that particular employees who are professionals, that is CMA, CPA and CA. Okay, so for that purpose a company can mitigate inherent risk by implementing specific controls and by taking particular actions. I hope you have understood this now. Next we'll come to the control risk. What is this control risk? To maintain a solid system of internal control, management has to alter the system periodically to fit ongoing changes in the business. What happens? You have implemented some controls. From inherent risk, you are going to implement some controls, but you will implement a control and after 3 months or 6 months, an employee will find a loophole in that control and he will again start doing the fraud in that particular internal control. So what should we do? We should keep reviewing it and we should change it if it is necessary. Correct? So in that way, management has to alter the system periodically to fit ongoing changes in the business. If there are any changes required in the business, that needs to be done with respect to the internal controls. And next, control risks happen because of the limitation of a company's internal control system. It happens because the limitations of a company's internal control system. Why? Because as an organization, we can't implement each and every control in the world has. Correct? So we can implement according to the significance of our risks. That's why still we will be having some limitations. If the control systems are not reviewed periodically, it will likely lose its effectiveness over time. As I said previously, you should review it and you should also keep upgrading it by removing all the loopholes of a control. And next, how control risk will be increased? If I understand that, I can take actions on that particular elements so that I'll be able to decrease my control risk. How? First one, if there is no segregation of duties. So if there are segregation of duties, the control risk can be decreased. So I should make segregation of duties. That is the solution. And documents are approved without management review. Before approving any document, management should make sure it will review the document. Correct? Yes. Transactions are not verified. there should be a specific person who is going to just verify these transactions, again with respect to the segregation of duties. And next, the supplier selection process is not transparent. It should be very much transparent, and control we can do is every 2 years a supplier should be changed. We should give to a different vendors after every 2 years with respect to our raw materials and all. And next, companies should decide what type of controls to implement for each risk based on the likelihood that the risk will occur and the amount of financial loss if the risk does occur. What does this mean? See here, if you want to apply a control, it is going to cost $10,000. Okay, just for example, okay, it's going to cost you $10,000. By applying this, you will be saving $5,000. This is not significant. I'll tell you why. See, this is again what we call this as a cost benefit analysis. To implement a control, you should spend $10,000. But by implementing that control, you will be benefiting only with respect to $5,000. It's better I lose $5,000 rather than spending $10,000. Correct. But this is not the only factor. This is the quantitative factor. But we should also concentrate on the qualitative factors which needs to be considered while implementing any control. So they are telling the likelihood that the risk will occur and the amount of financial loss if the risk does occur. We should concentrate on that. What is the difference between this inherent risk and a control risk? The difference is very simple. Inherent risk exists independent of internal controls, which means no internal controls exist, and control risk exists when the design or operation of a control doesn't eliminate the risk of material statement. What does this mean? Without applying any internal control, whatever the risks are there, those are called as inherent risk. After applying all the internal controls possible by us, still there are some risks. Those are control risks. Next we'll go for one more concept, that is detection risk. What is this detection risk? It is the risk that the auditor's procedures are unable to detect any material misstatements in a company's financial statements. What? It is that risk auditor's procedures are unable to detect any material misstatement in a company's financial statements. Correct. Means you have some set of rules. When you start auditing, you should follow some procedures. You should do sampling, you should do audit check. So when you follow that, still you will not be able to find some material misstatements. What they are telling is detection risk cannot be eliminated totally. The auditor can manipulate it by modifying certain factors. It can't be eliminated totally. You can't check each and every document. You can't check each and every transaction that has happened in an organization. But still, what you can do is the makeup of the engagement team, the competence and skill of the auditors, and the size of the engagement team. Means you are going to increase the competence and skill of the auditors, and also you are going to increase the size of the team. Where only 10 people are required to do an audit, you are going to appoint 20 people so that they are going to check more and more transactions. And next, the types of audit procedures. You are not going to settle for just a small level of audit procedures, but you are going to apply more and more rigorous procedures, and you are going to always apply this professional skepticism attitude. You will be having the questioning attitude from starting till the end, so that if there are any risks with regards to material misstatement, you will be able to find. You are going to find each and every transaction by sampling method. And next, including if the evidence is internally or externally generated, from where the evidence is generated, all these things you are going to check rigorously. And again, rigorousness of the audit procedures, that is sample size and the length of the audit engagement. Means the period which you are going to work. If you are assumed you are going to work for 10 days, now you are going to increase it for 20 days just to make sure there is no material misstatement. Why should we do all these things? Because the stakeholders of the company, the board of directors and the shareholders, the investors are all going to rely on our work, on our opinion on these financial statements. So we should make sure we are not going to break their trust. For that, we need to do this rigorous procedures to make sure we will give the right opinion. And next, quality control. We should not compromise with respect to the quality control of our own work. And most importantly, you should understand there is some relation between this audit risk, inherent risk, control risk and detection risk. Audit risk is equal to inherent risk into control risk into detection risk. Audit risk should be more or less. Audit risk should be less. So we should keep it least. How to keep it least? First, inherent risk will be high. Definitely it's going to be high without any internal controls. And control risk, we have mitigated risk to some level, but still there are risks, so it will be comparatively low. But this inherent risk and control risk is inversely proportional to this detection risk. How? If inherent risk and control risk are more, for example, if you assume inherent risk is 10 and control risk is 6, so what you should do with respect to detection risk? You should decrease it to whatever the level it is possible. How are you going to decrease it? Just by one way, that is by increasing your audit procedures. So detection risk, you are going to decrease it to 2. 10 into 6 into 2, how much it will come to? 60 into 2, 120 it will come. Correct. So you have applied a lot of audit procedures here. And next, see, what is the formula for detection risk? Detection risk is equal to audit risk divided by inherent risk into control risk. So this is inversely proportional to the inherent risk and control risk. I hope you got this. Remember, your audit risk should be least. How you are going to make it least? If your inherent risk and control risk are more, you are going to apply more and more audit procedures, which will help in decreasing your detection risk, which will make sure audit risk will be least. So the question will come, how to decrease the audit risk? And always remember, just by implementing more controls and also working more on audit procedures, you can decrease your audit risk. Decreasing your audit risk means increasing your work with respect to the controls, with respect to the competence, with respect to the integrity and with respect to the audit procedures. I hope you have understood this. By now we can conclude what all the things we have studied. Audit risk consists of 3 different types of risk, that is inherent risk, control risk and detection risk. Inherent risk and control risk are related to the company and detection risk are related to the auditor. Inherent risk is something without any internal control. What are all the risks we are going to face with respect to financial statements? That is inherent risk. After applying controls, we are going to face some of the risks. What are those risks? That is called as control risk. And just by small audit procedures, what are all the risks we are going to face is called as detection risk. If you have understood, please give it a thumbs up. Stay connected, stay committed.